Hello friends, the 599th day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. In Avdiivka, the Russians continue to try to break through the defense of Ukrainian armed forces, to Ukrainian General Staff reported this morning. Our defenders repulsed 50 enemy attacks in the area of the settlements of Avdiivka, Tonenke and Pervomaiske, the report says. The city administration of Avdiivka reported the shooting battles and massive shelling are not abating around the city. Russian drones are constantly circling over the city, said the head of the city military administration Barabash. The Ukrainian military telegram channel Deep State records that the Russian assaults near Avdiivka have moved to the infantry stage and less equipment is being used. I note that this is now the main assault tactic in this war on both sides. It was first used by the Wagner PMC near Bakhmut and then adopted by the Ukrainian armed forces near Zaporizhia. By and large, the enemy, during its sharp activation around the Avdiivka region of defense of the Ukrainian army, in the sense of an attempt to encircle it, managed to achieve two things. In the south, move in the direction Robotyne-Severne. At first they managed to reach almost the southern outskirts of Severne, but then the advanced units of the Ukrainian armed forces pushed the enemy further south. In the direction Robotyne-Pervomaiske and Spartak-Avdiivka, the enemy's advance ranged from 200 to 300 meters. In the north, the Russians managed to advance in the direction Krasnogorivka-Stepove and Krasnogorivka-Novokalynove. My friends, the robot will continue.
Statements by the Russians about the capture of the Avdiivka waste heap are not confirmed by the Ukrainian side. At the same time, Western experts record the advances of Russians in this area. In the Melitopol sector, according to the General Staff, the Russians unsuccessfully tried 5 times to restore their lost position in the Robotyne and Verbovy areas. In this direction, obviously, the enemy command hopes that it has managed to stop the advanced units of the Ukrainian armed forces at the first position of its main line of defense. I think this is precisely what explains his desire to organize and carry out a series of counterattacks right at the edge of the Ukrainian penetration area. The Russians counterattacked the forward positions of the Ukrainian army east of Novoprokopivka, right at the junction of their first position of the main line of defense and the breakthrough site of the Ukrainian troops. Then the attacks were repeated, but the maximum that the enemy could achieve was to push our advanced units several hundred meters to the north, occupying half of one of the forest plantations. In turn, in Novoprokopivka, apparently after counterattacks in its northern part, enemy units were forced to leave it and took up positions in the central part of the village. Therefore, probably, at the moment, the northern part of Novoprokopivka is the so-called gray zone. Most likely, the advanced units of the Ukrainian armed forces could have already entered this settlement again, if not for the height that is located northwest of the village, which the enemy continues to hold. This allows him, obviously, to observe and, accordingly, shoot the road between Robotyne and Novoprokopivka and the surrounding area, which significantly complicates the advance of Ukrainian troops south towards Novoprokopivka and east of it. At the Nesterianka-Kopani line, after unsuccessful attempts by the enemy to break through from the west to Robotyne from this area, Ukrainian troops began a gradual advance from the north. Slowly, unhurriedly, the armed forces of Ukraine are advancing both to Kopani and further east to Nesterianka. The enemy has a line of fortified positions in front of Kopani, just as in the Nesterianka area. So I don't think this progress will be significant or rapid in the near future. But, in terms of the general situation in this direction, if the pressure of the Ukrainian armed forces in this area continues, then this will quite significantly complicate the situation for the enemy along the Robotyne-Novoprokopivka axis. Meanwhile, Ukraine is finding it increasingly difficult to secure financial support as the attention of officials in key donor countries turns to upcoming elections and geopolitical tensions increase, Ukrainian Finance Minister Marchenko told Reuters. I see great fatigue, I see great weakness among our partners. They would like to forget about the war, but a full-scale war is still going on, said the Minister of Finance. He said Ukraine was now working twice as hard to persuade our partners to support us compared to the last annual meeting in April. Ukraine needs to secure financial support from the West to cover its $43 billion budget deficit in 2024. Marchenko said that geopolitical shifts and domestic political contexts in different countries are weakening governments' willingness to support Ukraine.
Friends, considering what is happening in my country, this channel is now my only source of income. If you are able to support me financially, I will be very grateful. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.